Morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. and I'd like to call to order public hearing to receive public comment on the proposed establishment of a pilot program for interagency no cost or reduction cost transfer credit on Golden Gate Transit Bus and Golden Gate Ferry. Before we begin, please note that this meeting is being recorded. Thank you to everyone who joins us today in person and through our audio option. If you would like to provide public comment at today's hearing, please let Thomas in the back of the room or Justine on the call-in line know, and we would like, if you would like to speak. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you. We don't require a quorum for this group, so I'm just going to roll call everyone who is here in the room. Director Conroy is absent. Director Dorsey is absent. Director Gardio is absent. Garbarino.
Here.
Giudice.
Here.
Hernandez.
Here.
Maston.
Here.
Moulton Peters is absent. Parr is absent. Donnie.
Here.
Snyder is absent. Thier is absent. Second Vice President Rabbit is absent. And First Vice President Hill
Here.
and President Cochran.
Here.
Those are present for this public hearing.
As a reminder, the purpose of this public hearing is to receive public comment after the staff provides a brief overview of the proposal. Madam Secretary, please summarize the public outreach effort for this public hearing.
Thank you. Before I begin, Director Rabbit just joined us.
Yes.
In compliance with district policy, public outreach was undertaken as follows. A notice of public hearing was posted to the district's website on January 27th. Legal notices were published in the San Francisco Chronicle, Independent Journal, Santa Rosa Press Democrat, and East Bay Times on Thursday, February 6th and Thursday, February 20th. Legal notices were also posted in the Lavaz website, referenced in social media posts and weekly reports from February 6th through February 27th. Print advertisements were placed in the San Francisco Chronicle, Marin Independent Journal, Santa Rosa Press Democrat, and East Bay Times on February 6th and February 20th, and Lavaz on February 6th. Print advertisements were also posted on Golden Gate Transit buses, ferry vessels in both English and Spanish on February 7th. Email blasts were sent to customers on February 7th and 21st, and posted on Facebook and X, formerly known as Twitter, on February 4th. Digital advertisements were run on Facebook, Instagram from February 7th through 21st, and documents were related to this public hearing are also available in Spanish as per the district's language implementation plan.
Thank you. Ron, would you skip the page? Attorney Manolis, does public outreach described by the district secretary meet the district's legal requirements for calling this public hearing?
Yes, President Cochran, they do. Those extensive efforts do meet the district's legal requirement to hold and have this public hearing.
Okay, thank you. Madam Secretary, has there been any correspondence relative to this proposal?
As of close of business yesterday, I believe we received 2 comments related to the topic of this hearing. And although the public comment period concludes tomorrow, Friday, February 28th at 4:30, staff will include any further comments received relative to this public hearing to next month's Finance Auditing Committee on March 27th and the Board of Directors for subsequent action at its 25th meeting. Ron, we're going to turn things over to you as part of this hearing. We're going to have you provide a brief report on the proposal.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, everybody. This proposal comes out of MTP's work on the Fare Coordination Integration Study, which has moved over to the Regional Network Management. It represents another opportunity for the public who rides transit in the Bay Area to have a better understanding of the fare system. What this proposal does is gives everybody a local fare credit on the next bus outside of our system or train that they transfer to. And for longer regional trips, it gives a credit up to $2.75 on those longer regional fares. Currently, we do not have transfer agreements with every system that we connect with. Some of them negotiated over time. Some of them had very small increments because they must be by mutual agreement among the transit agencies. For example, our agreement with SFMTA Muni only provides for a 50-cent transfer credit back and forth from Golden Gate Transit to Muni and from Muni to us. This will remedy that by giving a full local fare credit on Muni for passengers coming from Golden Gate Transit or Golden Gate Ferry. The two public commenters that we had received from are very enthusiastic because they said it allows better flexibility for them continuing their trips on Muni. This program is only going to be available under Clipper 2.0. MTC has asked the governing boards of all the participating transit agencies ratify their participation by April 1st. This Clipper 2.0 rollout has been discussed for some time. It was originally pegged for April 1st. We believe that it may now go into effect later in April of 2025. So the action before you today for consideration in the public hearing relates to any change in our fare policy per rules of the board must go through a public process. So that's why we're here today. Pending any further comments we receive, staff will look at those comments and determine if the recommendation needs to be modified when it's brought back to the Finance Committee on March 27th. And if the Finance Committee concurs, to the full board on March 28th, which would, if approved then, meet our April 1st obligation to MTC for participation in the program. MTC will fully reimburse us for any foregone fare revenue as part of these transfers. So it's a very important tenet of this program is it's to the customer's benefit and we don't lose anything. So I think that's a good overview of where we are today. Pending any questions, I'll turn it back up. All right.
Okay, Dennis?
Yeah, I just want to add one thing, just so the board knows that what the region is rolling out is what you have done with our Marin and Sonoma sister agencies for decades. For decades, if you got off a Golden Gate regional bus or ferry and transferred to Marin Transit, Petaluma Transit, Santa Rosa City Bus, or Sonoma County Transit, you had a free local ride. And alternately, when you got on a local bus first and got on Golden Gate, your regional trip was discounted by the amount of the local fare. And no money changed hands. We just all realized that we'll get them going one way or the other, and it's worked out well. As Ron said, that is not consistent by any stretch of the imagination across the region. So we're really thrilled to see this apply to all operators, because we touch about half the transit operators in the Bay Area. When you look at Del Norte BART Station, San Francisco by the Embarcadero BART Station and by the Ferry Building, and Salesforce Transit Center. And so this is something that staff feels really, really good about. But I want to acknowledge that our predecessors had the wisdom to do this every place they could. And Ron mentioned Muni. We used to have a much more robust transfer agreement with Muni, but 4 GMs ago, they changed it over our objections to greatly reduce it. So this anyway will standardize things throughout the region. The local trip basically will be free up to the cap, and it's great that MTC is actually putting up money too. So anyway, I just wanted to acknowledge that our predecessors did a nice job in the service that we operate in Marin and Sonoma and coordinating that in a dare I say seamless fashion.
Okay, thank you, Dennis. Ron, are there any additional comments by staff? Bert, you had actually, this is a public hearing to receive public comment and on the subject matter. I'll ask my colleagues to hold their comments or questions for staff until matters return to the meeting of Finance and Auditing Committee in March for consideration. So keep your thoughts there.
Well, I won't lose it.
All right.
Dennis knows that.
Madam Secretary, could you outline the procedures that will now follow to receive public comments?
Thank you. We're going to start with if there's any speakers in the room. We're going to go one speaker at a time and appreciate that the speaker stays on topic. And if possible, we'd like the speaker to state his name or his or her name. And if representing an organization, state the full name of the organization and to honor the 3-minute time comment period. We're going to look around, but I have no speaker cards for the room, but I do want to check with Justine to see if there's anybody who's called in and wants to comment at this public hearing. So I have no speakers in the room. Is that correct, Thomas? All right, with no speakers in the room. Justine, would you like to check your public comment line on the phone?
I would, thank you. We've got a few new callers. Thank you so much. Is there anyone new that's joined us that would like to speak at the public hearing this morning? Please use * to unmute yourself and let me know. Okay, I'm not hearing anybody. Thank you.
Okay. The public hearing portion of this, or the comments public hearing is now closed. Madam Secretary, please summarize the next step in this process.
As I mentioned earlier, the comment period closes tomorrow at 4:30 on February 28th, and staff will evaluate all comments received and determine whether changes or modifications need to be made to the proposal. A final recommendation includes a summary of public comments received will be brought to the Finance Auditing Committee meeting at its March 27th meeting and then brought forward to the full board the next day. At this time, we anticipate both meetings be held here in person in the boardroom on those scheduled meeting dates.
Okay, thank you for joining us. This concludes the public hearing. The time is 9:09 p.m.